You liked my last video that I posted about how an intuitive adventure can go, or what an intuitive adventure can look like. So I wanted to tell another story and give you another example of what a different type of intuitive adventure can look like, and show you that sometimes intuitive adventures can be really seemingly random, like in my last video, which is linked in the description if you'd like to go watch it. And they can also be very interesting, detailed, and very expansive. Very like, wow, this is crazy. This is another story of an intuitive adventure that I went on over a year ago and how it's still unfolding to this day. Over a year ago, I felt inspired to go out shopping. So I went to this local mall. It's an outdoor mall. And I was just shopping around doing some stuff. I noticed that I felt very pulled to go into this bistro on the corner. The bistro is called Zinc Bistro, and I had never been there before. So I was like, okay, my intuition is guiding me in here. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I walk in and the bar is full. There's only one seat available. Intuition's like, neon sign, this is where you're supposed to sit. Hello, it's the only seat available. So I sit there, I order my drink, and I'm just observing, looking around, trying to see if there's anyone or anything that I feel something about, which would be the next breadcrumb from my intuition. But I didn't have to think very hard to find out what it was, because the couple to my left started talking to me. They're just like, hello. I'm like, hi. And we start talking, and it turns out to be this really interesting conversation. They are very experienced scuba divers, and they're telling me all their stories about scuba diving together, how they met, how they went on this really interesting, dangerous scuba diving experience. The woman, it was her like first time scuba diving in the ocean, and she had an incident, but she handled it like a pro. That was when the man knew that they were like the perfect couple. He was like, yeah, I love you. We're in this together forever. And they ended up ordering a bottle of wine, and they offered some to me, and I tasted their wine. It was amazing. They even paid my bill for me secretly. So like, wow, this is amazing. We exchanged contact info right before they left. After they left, I stayed at the bar. I still had a little bit left in my drink to finish, and I get a text from them immediately. And they're like, hey, why don't you come over this evening and we can hang out? And I'm like, okay, intuition, hello. You are clearly guiding me down this trail. Like, I cannot miss these signs. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll come over. And they send me their address. Mandy and I end up going together, and they lived 5 minutes down the road from our place in this beautiful gated community on the side of the mountain. And when we get there, their house is gorgeous. They invite us inside. They have food. They're sharing their food with us. It was really, really nice. We have this conversation, and this is when I started feeling a little bit like, oh boy, this is why my intuition wanted me to come here. There were some comments being made. Some of the comments were making me very uncomfortable, not because anyone was doing anything wrong, but because it was bringing up my own insecurities. And the comments were about my body. Like, you have a beautiful body, look at your shape, you're so curvy. And then comments being made to Mandy, like, oh, you're so skinny, you look so fit. And I'm just like, this is the last thing that I want you to talk about. Like, shut up. My mouth is dry. I'm like sweating. So that is starting to happen. I'm starting to judge them. I go from having this great conversation and being like so excited to meet them to suddenly now I'm like, I want to leave and I never want to see you again. So my intuition's like, this is what you're here to learn, bitch. When we ended up leaving, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to hang out with them again. And of course, that's like exactly why I should hang out with them again, right? A year goes by. Recently, this was just prior to the 4th of July this year, I get a text from them. And we had communicated a few times before that. They even invited me over for the Super Bowl last year, and I went, but I did not stay. I was only there for an hour. The second time I hung out with them at their house, same comments about my weight, same comments about my body, and I'm just like... And the other thing that I was noticing about them was they gave me the vibe of being like swingers, which I was also extremely uncomfortable with. The feeling of like a couple when they're being really nice to a single woman and they're trying to get her to like join them in the bedroom or whatever. I was getting that vibe, which was entirely an assumption on my part, entirely a judgment, but this is the shit that I'm telling myself, the stories I'm telling myself. 4th of July this year, I get invited to a pool party at their house. And they're also like, bring Mandy too. Like, you guys can both come. You're more than welcome. And I bring it up to Andre because I was like, I don't know if I want to go, blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is a lesson you haven't learned yet. This is why this keeps coming up. Eventually, they're going to go away and you're going to meet someone else who's going to have to teach you the same lesson unless you can learn it this time around. So I was like, oh, fuck, okay, I'll go to this fucking party. And Mandy agreed to come too. I went into it this time with the awareness that I needed to not judge them. I needed to be open and accepting and not judgmental. And even on the drive to their house, Mandy asked me, do you know, like, do you feel that these people are temporary or do you feel like they're permanent in your life? And immediately I knew the answer was that they're permanent. And so I was like, okay, I really need to stop judging them. So we get to their house for the pool party and we're enjoying immediately. They're so hospitable. They're offering us food, drinks, everything. They offer that we learn how to scuba dive in their pool. They're like, yeah, we have a regulator and a tank over there and we can teach you how to use it. Like, you can practice diving in our pool, because their pool was like 8 feet deep. I'm like, once again, my intuition's like, are you gonna do it or are you gonna chicken out? So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So basically I got to learn how to scuba dive at their house. This was the perfect opportunity for me to just relax into the experience. When you're scuba diving, it is entirely mental. It's like a fraction of it is physical, most of it is mental. You have to just stay calm and relax into the experience. It was so perfectly orchestrated for me to get over myself and just surrender to what was happening. For me to be like, wow, there's actually nothing wrong with these people. They're just being themselves and I'm just being me and it's okay. And the part that fucking killed me, the gentleman of the couple was putting this like weighted belt on my waist for me so I could like not float and just sink to the bottom. And he said, wow, you've got a beautiful body. And I was like, receive the fucking compliment, for fuck's sake. Like, Jesus Christ. He's never told me that I'm fat, that I'm unattractive. It's always just been compliments about my figure, but I took them with offense. And this time I was just like, thank you. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Then someone else came over. We just hit it off. I don't know. It was crazy. Like, he and I started talking and we just had the same mind. But he happened to have this like 9-figure company. I didn't know this about him until we started talking. He has this insane, huge company. And we had this amazing conversation about business and what we're learning and what I learned. And I gave him some perspective on something he was having a hard time with. All of this just came from following my intuition, following my feelings, and not judging my entire experience like, oh, it's dangerous to go over to a stranger's house after you met them for the first time. It's risky to do these things, like blah, blah, blah. Judging people. It's normal to judge people, but it limits your experience so much. There is no end to the story because it's still ongoing. Like, I still talk to them. They even invited me to go see the new Superman movie last weekend. I didn't go because I don't give a shit about Superman. But the point is, if you follow your intuition and you end up being guided to meet someone and you feel something about them and then something happens where maybe you get invited to go somewhere with them, but you're still strangers, you haven't really gotten to know each other, and you're like, this is risky, I shouldn't do this, but your body is like, go, like there's something here for you, just go. Follow your feelings. Don't let your mind talk you out of these things, because you're gonna miss out on your lessons and the things that are really here for you to experience in this life. If you live in fear and you're like, oh, stranger danger, these people are so weird, I'm just gonna judge them, you're gonna have to learn the lesson eventually. And it may take you more than one lifetime. You may have to come back for another lifetime and learn it again. That is why following your intuition is so key. It's not just about getting the things you want. It's about not having to come back and learn the same lessons again in another life. Like, that's how deep this shit really is. That's my story. That's what happened. I learned not to judge, and I learned to be open to friendship and also to accept that people may be in my life for a very long time. And it doesn't have to make sense, and I don't have to know why. Something will come of it. So thank you so much for watching. Comment under this video what you think. If you'd like to hear more about intuitive adventures, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them in a comment. And to begin living your life unlimited and following your intuition for everything and getting the support you need to get past any roadblocks that may come up, and to join a community full of people who are doing the same thing, join our No Apologies community. It's a transformational community that has everything inside to support you in becoming the version of you who lives life completely unlimited, following your intuition and letting these incredible things unfold for you with ease and support. Link to join is in the description. Can't wait to see you inside. All the information you need is there, and we'll also be there. Mandy, myself, and Andre. You'll find us inside. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we'll see you next time.